Hey, good morning guys. This is Rusty 78609, Central Texas, USA at 8:25 a.m., 43 top up degrees. A gray day in Texas. Supposed to be near 60 for a high, so that's good. I'm driving into town. But anyway, this video is going to be about my first RV. The first one I bought. I had lived in them for a while, but I bought one. I bought it used. It was a 1985 Aljo, 26 foot, as I remember. ALJO, I think, was the name of it. And it had a double entry. It had an entry door in the front part and an entry door in the rear part, and you could divide the RV off into like two living area, or not living areas, but two. You had the bedroom, you could completely close it off. And anyway, I thought that was neat, and that's why I guess I bought it. And I thought the double doors were needed because I had two sons, and one was very young, probably 3, 4 years old, that would come visit, what they call them, the suitcase children that would come visit you every now and then. When you get a divorce, you give them all kind of cute names, but anyway, during visitation, he would come visit. He probably doesn't even remember. And then I had another son, and at that time was around 18 to 20. So I thought they'd come. So anyway, that's why I got the thing you can divide in half. Make the bedroom private, and then of course the dining room table made into a bed. There were no slides at that time in anything. And it had a furnace, roof AC, the normal hookups, double axle, heavy. It was heavy. I pulled it with a 350 Chevy half-ton regular cab pickup, 1979 Chevrolet pickup that I had, step side. Good looking truck, wished I'd have kept it, but I didn't. Anyway, it was a 350 automatic. I had 355 gears, I think, which helped. But I want you to know I drug that trailer all over the western United States. I really did. I think I kept it for about 4 or 5 years. But it was, I would have to say, a learning experience, to say the least. I knew nothing about RVs, nothing. Didn't even know anybody that had one. And so I learned pretty much everything on my own. Of course, it had the load levelers and the sway bar and everything, because I thought you had to have all that, and you certainly did with that one. And the hitch, to put it on the back of the truck, weighed about 50 pounds. I mean, it was a difficult, and setting it up was a pain in the butt. But having said that, I did it for several years. But I can tell you, hell, it was just junk. I mean, it had been kept along the coast of Texas. It had the I-beams, of course, underneath, but they were all rusted and crap. And the wood, it had wood doors covered with a plastic and an aluminum frame, and all the wood in the doors was rotted, both doors, and I just prayed they didn't come open when I was towing it down the highway. And but it was a welcome to the universe of RVing for sure for me. I guarantee you. Did I learn a lot from that RV? Yes, I did. A whole lot. I learned that when you buy a used RV, you don't want one that's been along the Gulf Coast of anywhere, because they will have rotted to the ground. But everything worked pretty good. I don't remember, let's see, I think, I didn't have any kind of warranty on it, I know that. But everything worked up until I sold it, I think. I don't remember I don't remember putting in a window AC or any of that stuff, so I guess the roof AC worked. The refrigerator, now I do remember replacing the refrigerator, and I just pulled it out and put in a 110, I don't know, 3 or 4 cubic foot refrigerator in that spot, whatever would fit, and just used it whenever, because back then when I went somewhere, I thought you had to go to places that had full hookups. I didn't know anything about boondocking or dispersed camping. I never heard of anybody doing it. There was no YouTube. There was no way to really find out what was going on out there in the RV world. You just did what you saw everybody else do. And of course it had an awning, and like everybody else, when I got set up, I'd put my awning out. Well, that didn't last too long though. I learned pretty quick that I did not need to put the awning out. And but you know, there's just a little caveat. I had a viewer make a comment about me driving in this left lane. Well, if I'm driving the speed limit and everywhere I want to go is on the left-hand side, I'm going to drive in the left lane. Enough said about that. But anyway, back to the Aljo RV. But I did tow it everywhere. I mean, I went all over western U.S. I mean, I went to Grand Canyon. I went to South Point, North Point, up into Utah. Gosh, I don't remember where all I went. Canyon, what is it? Something of the Gods or something out there in south of Utah and northern Arizona. I mean, I went everywhere. And my truck towing got about 8 miles to the gallon. And I had a 15-gallon tank. That's a 120-mile range when you're towing. So what I did was I bought me a 50-gallon drum, and I bought a pump, a crank pump, and I would put about 30 gallons of gasoline in that barrel, and then when I got low, if I was caught out somewhere where there was no fuel around, then I would just pump gas out of that 50-gallon drum into my truck, and that worked out fine. And I remember I got stopped one day by the highway patrol. I was out in West Texas around Big Bend, and he pulled me over and he said, I just want to know what's in that 50-gallon drum. And I said, well, it's regular unleaded gasoline. And he said, thank you very much. And that was the end of that. He was just curious. He'd seen me, I'd seen him around. But he just wanted to know. I don't know, I guess that wasn't a violation of the law, fortunately. But I did. I towed it all over. But I can remember not many times, but a few times. Oh God, I'll tell you where I got on one. You guys may remember this road. When you leave out of, let me think of what location that is. What is it, Lake Powell or whatever it is. And then you can go around and get to North Point of Grand Canyon. Well, anyway, the road that you get on to go to North Point, off of the main highway, whatever it is, I mean, you climb a grade for quite a while. And anyway, I was watching my fuel gauge on my truck, and I had my foot back then in what was called the carburetor. We don't have carburetors anymore, but I can remember I had my foot in the carburetor. That means I had my accelerator pedal mashed all the way to the floor. I was going about 35 miles an hour in the lowest gear I had. And I had cars behind me. I couldn't do a thing about it. And I mean, it was sucking gas like you were pouring it out on the ground. And I thought I had plenty of fuel to get to the little, they had a little gas station there in that north, at the, I don't know what it was, the entry into the park. There was a little town there, I don't remember the name of it. And I was going to an RV park near there. Man, I don't know how I made it. I didn't run out, but when I pulled in there, I promise you I was running on fumes. I guarantee you. Oh, I was just, if you'd have taken my blood pressure then, it would probably been 400 over 300. I mean, I was stressed to the max. And what else did I do? Let me think. Well, then, of course, back then, the only way you could find RV parks was they had this big, thick book that looked like a giant phone directory. I mean, it was about 2 inches thick and weighed about, it was about 10 inches by 8 inches and 2 inches thick, weighed about 10 pounds, and you'd find the state, and then you'd find the location you were going to, and then you'd call the RV park, and that's how you made a reservation, if you made a reservation at all, or that's how you found out if there was an RV park in that area that you could stay at. And that was a pain, because that took time. And sometimes there'd be a place that wasn't in the book, or a lot of places that weren't in the book, because anything that was new was not in the book. A lot of the places chose not to participate in the book because there was a fee. So, and again, I didn't know anything about boondocking or dispersed camping, any of that stuff. So that was all coming down the road. Everywhere I went was a full hookup. Every spot I camped out was a full hookup. And that was difficult too, because I wouldn't stay but 2 or maybe sometimes just overnight. But if I just stayed overnight, I mean, I didn't put the jacks down for sure. I'd put down 1 or 2 just to keep it, fairly stable, because they didn't have the stabilizer jacks back then. You actually had those little screw-up jacks you did by hand, and that was welcome to the world of RVing, Rusty. And yeah, did I have some problem? Oh man, I had stuff happen. Here, I'll tell you. When I was going down Interstate 10, and I think I've mentioned this in another video, but I was going down Interstate 10. Of course, speed limit back then was only 70. Today it's 80, but I was going 60 probably. And a trucker passed me and flashed his lights, or behind me. I couldn't, but anyway, he flashed his lights when he came by and honked or something. I thought, well, maybe there was something wrong, so I pulled over, and the awning had come loose. Fortunately, in the back, some of the screws had come out. It was all that old wood was rotten in there, and the screws had come out, and it was just hanging down. It wasn't dragging on the ground, but it was just hanging on the side of the RV and flopping. Well, I had some wire and stuff, so I managed to rig it on there so it would stay till I got somewhere I could figure out something else to do. But I finally made it to El Paso, pulled into a gas station and worked on it for about 30-40 minutes and got it fixed up enough where it would stay on the RV anyway. Oh God, and that ain't all. And then another time, I was going down the highway, and I couldn't see directly down the side of the RV with the mirrors on my pickup unless I, kind of turned to the right. I could see the right side of the RV. If I turned to the left, I could see sometimes the left side of the RV. Anyway, I'd been traveling for a few hours, and there was a kind of a sharp turn to the right. I wasn't on the interstate. I was just on a farm to market road, a county road. Had a pretty good sharp turn to the right. Anyway, I just happened to look in the mirror on the right-hand side, and one of the doors of the double entry to my RV, the front door, was gone. I mean, it was just pieces of wood hanging there. I thought, get out of here. What am I going to do now? Oh, man. Well, anyway. Went to my next stop, unhooked, called the RV place. Ended up, I finally got off a old junked up RV they had there. I bought a door. Believe it or not, they charged me $200. But hell, what was I going to do? I mean, I could have done a lot of things, I guess, but I didn't. But the door fit, and it was a good door, so that solved that problem. But did I have water leaks? Oh yeah, yep. Old Rusty had water leaks from hell, because it had a front window, a back window, windows on the side. The roof was old and cracked, and yeah, old Rusty had leaks. In fact, I got so mad one time, I bought some of that. It's called black mastic, M-A-S-T-I-C. It's an old black tar looking stuff, and if you ever open a can of it, you can't open a can without getting some on you. It just gets on you somehow, and then it has to wear off. You cannot get rid of it. Nothing will take it off your body. Anyway, so I got me some of that old black mastic, and I got me a spreader tool, and I got up on the roof, and I proceeded to, anything that looked like it might leak, I plopped that stuff all over it. Did it match? No. The roof was white, the stuff was black. Did I care? No. But I mean, anything that looked like it could leak, I plugged it up. And then I got some sealer, some like silicone stuff. I'm not sure if it was silicone or not. I think it was just some caulk that was waterproof. But whatever I got, then I went around every window, and if every place that looked like it could leak or might leak, I plugged it up too. Well, after that, I didn't have any major leaks, but I still had a few little drippers, so to speak, every now and then in a really heavy rain. But I did not worry about that because I did not care about that RV at all. I knew at some point I'd get rid of it, but I didn't want an RV full of mold and mildew and all of that mess. But that was my welcome to the world of RVing, and I'm sure some of you that are listening to this video will think, yeah, I can remember some of that, because well, now they even as poorly as they're built now, they're better than they were then. That 1985 had a lot of cheap wood in the walls, okay, and now the new ones all use aluminum, you know, and that's great because it doesn't rot. And is that better? Yes, and it's lighter. I mean, that trailer I had was heavy. I mean, it was like towing a brick down the highway with no wheels on it. But it was fun. I have to tell you this, I really thought I was enjoying myself. I mean, my little old eyes were about the size of $50. If anybody knows what that is. They were enlarged because I was seeing the West at my leisure. And I spent, I don't know, a year screwing around, just going wherever my little heart desired. And I enjoyed it. I did. I mean, I got hooked on it. And then from there, I got God damn, it's crazy, man. I used to go to a little bar in Buchanan Dam, Texas, when I was in that area, called Pocahontas. And it was kind of a country club type bar, a little highbrow bar. And I would go there because it just had good atmosphere. I enjoyed it. And I met a guy there one night. I'd seen him in there before, and we had talked, but we were talking, and he said, I said, you run that little golf course, don't you? You know, and I had played a little golf, and I thought, well, I'd get back to playing again. So we got talking about golf, and he was a good golfer, but he also had the concession for the golf course on the for the state park. It was called Highland Lakes Golf Course, and he owned that concession, or said he did. There's more to that story, but anyway. But there was a little house right next to the golf course. It was really neat. A little one-bedroom, full bath, had a little living area, had a full kitchen with washer and dryer and stuff. But anyway, he said that he was looking for somebody to run the golf course. And he said, will you be interested? I said, man, I'm looking for something to do, that's for sure, but I said, I don't know anything about running a golf course. He said, that's all right, I'll show you. And so anyway, we worked a deal, and it was agreed I'd just live in that house, and then he'd pay me a salary on top of that, and that would work fine for me. I thought, hell, that's great, I can do that. Ain't a problem with me. I didn't have anything else to do. I had no plans, nowhere to go. So I did. I gradually moved into the little house, and then I had my RV parked over by what was then called Pack Saddle Golf Course, and I put it up for sale. I think I put it up for sale for $3,500. Can you believe that? But I did, and I ended up, I got $2,500 for it. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it was junk. I mean, it was gone. I mean, the floors were gone. I don't know why anybody wanted it, but they did it. And and then I stayed at the golf course, I don't know, off and on. Well, I was there for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. But when I left the golf course, the guy, Johnny was the guy's name. He was a professional gambler. I really enjoyed the guy. A lot of people hated his guts. I thought he was a fine man. I enjoyed his company, and that's enough said about that. He treated me square, okay, you understand that? And so, anyway, he knew that when I moved into that house that I had sold that RV I had. And so when he sold the golf course, or he told me he was going to sell the golf course, I knew it bothered him because he knew I'd be left out in the cold because I really didn't have a lot of money to go buy another RV. So anyway, one of the people he had been gambling with owned an RV dealership in Georgetown, Texas. And as things transpired a few months later, what he did is he just took out his gambling debt and had the guy give him an RV, which he planned on using himself, okay, which he did. He was going to use it and live in it like I had done. Well, he lived in it for about, a month at an RV park not too far from the golf course, and he decided he didn't want it. And that he was, whenever the deal closed and the golf course was sold, then he was going to leave. And I thought, well, that's fine, But anyway, he said, the day before the guy came to take over the golf course that had bought it, he told me, he said, "You see that RV out there?" I said, "Yeah." It was just a little 19-foot, I think it was called a KIT, K-I-T, and it was only like I don't even know, it might have been 2 years, maybe a year or two old. It was fairly new. I remember that. And anyway, it was parked off to the side of the parking lot at the golf course. And he came in there, he said, "Hey, Rusty." I said, "Yep." He said, "You see that RV out there?" I said, "Yep." He said, "You want it?" I said, "Well, I'd take it." I said, "How much you want for it?" He said, "I don't want a damn thing for it. You can have it." You hear me? He gave me that RV. Yeah, he signed the title right there and handed it to me. That's crazy, isn't it? But that's a true story. He sure did. And so anyway, I got the hookup ready and move my stuff in there gradually, because there was no hurry. The new owner told me that they were going to be moving stuff back and forth, and just take your time. And so I did, and so it all worked out. And then one day I just hooked up. Well, I had sold my pickup in the interim, my step-side pickup, and so I bought me a brand new Ford pickup. Of course, I had to finance it, but I bought a 2002 Ford pickup, V6, 4.2 liter, and it towed it okay. I'm not complaining. It towed it okay, and that was my next travel trailer. And it was just a little old cheapy 19-footer, but it was lightweight. I could tow it okay, and that's pretty much the end of that story, folks. And then on and on it went till now I'm living in a 16-foot travel trailer, a 2018, thank goodness, with no problems. And so again, you people that think these new RVs are not well built, let me tell you, the older models back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s were crap. Okay, these are great, even though they're still not well made. But having said that, guys, from Central Texas, USA, this is Rusty78609 saying, thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye, 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 whatever you want. But if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description. Why? Because I'm an Amazon affiliate. If you use the link and go to Amazon and buy anything, I get a small commission, which I appreciate. So here we are at my 2013 Jayco J-Flight that I have for sale. If anybody's interested, just let me know. But anyway, drink plenty of water, take deep breaths, keep your health, do everything you need to stay healthy, because without that, you're screwed, dude, and tattooed. But anyway, guys, my first RV. Adios. Bye-bye.